Barbarian. Well, I see that we have another contender earnestly vying for a chance to wear the crown of worst horror film of the year. This bloated, misshapen troglodyte of barely there jump-scarific insultitude is enough to put me off well-received horror movies altogether. It wants desperately to be loved and respected for its uniquely idiotic premise. But the only sense of dread I felt throughout the maudlin proceedings of this festering boil on the buttocks of cinematic excrement was when I checked my watch and tried to absorb the reality that there was still another hour left of this putradacious pile of shit-stained underwear. I feel extremely confident in proclaiming this as the hands-down winner of whatever prize is awarded in hell for wasting a cinemaphile's time. Since this slowly molding chunk of greasy cheese bears nothing resembling any relation to the title Barbarian, I can only assume that the original title of this masturbatory exercise in fruitless filmmaking was something akin to, "Are you fucking retarded?" as the number of times I spoke those words aloud in my theater of one should be presented as a new and dangerous drinking game, so as to give this portentous parade of squatter porn some value after all. And I know full well that it was I who was retarded, having spent the money on the ticket, as well as purchasing an $8 bag of stale popcorn. At least the popcorn gave me a small modicum of satisfaction, even if it was strictly from the gallon or so liquefied butter-flavored chemical concoction that I drenched it with. The pacing is horrific. We spent the first hour getting to know ya, with 2 total broomsticks over a banquet of red herring and undrugged wine, and then are treated to an impossibly whiny Justin Long, a rapist, and his struggles as a Hollywood C-lister inserts himself as the protagonist for the next 45 excruciating minutes. The final act piles stupid upon stupid until the film finally gives up on itself, literally throwing itself off a water tower for the gloriously gangrenous grand finale. Plot conveniences in this tired and pitifully woven wicker basket of surreal story beats are as plentiful as they are majestically incomprehensible. Oops, your flashlight stopped working when you need it most. Oops, it started working again to move the plot along. Oops, you dropped your keys. The keys you need to start the car. But wait, there's another car. Oops, you drove it into a house and it won't start. Oops, you left your phone upstairs and now the door is locked. Oops, you can have the phone back, but now you need a weapon. Oops, you can have a weapon, but you have to drop it any time it will be useful. Those are just off the top of my head. Character-wise, this is a jar of scorpions being poured into a cage of hummingbirds. Am I supposed to be rooting for any of our 3 oblivious protagonists? The choices are pretty grim. We've got Tess, who seems nice enough, but has all the personality of a slice of wet bread. Keith, the socially awkward mid-alpha avatar of a Polaroid photograph of a jar of mayonnaise. Or AJ, the rapist. I honestly felt more sympathy for the monster of the film, a mangled, decrepit old hag who'd been abducted and abused for 40 years in the hilariously cavernous subterranean catacombs beneath a suburban Detroit neighborhood. It baits and switches both tone and tension on the fly with little concern for the scene that immediately preceded it. There are a few moments that I'm pretty sure were played for a laugh, but the physical cringe on my face elicited what would feel right at home with a fart in an elevator. The in-universe rules are equally embarrassing. Is the witch afraid of sunlight or not? She shrinks away from a cell phone flashlight, but opens and closes doors at random times during the day and claws through a window in broad daylight. So, there is a single untouched house in the middle of a mangled and destroyed subdivision, and the original owner has survived in a series of underground labyrinthine catacombs beneath it for over 4 decades without sustenance or anyone getting wise. Got it. I mean, it's not like 2 of our 3 protagonists found the not-so-hidden doorway within 10 seconds of being in the room. They're obviously some Rhodes Scholar-level intellectuals to notice the rope hanging from a hole in the wall to activate the door. I'm trying to imagine going on a business trip to meet a future employer, finding myself inadvertently locked into a housing situation with one of the major contacts for said employer, and not even mentioning it to that person at the interview. Again, plot convenience. I'm absolutely taken aback by the critical love that this coma-inducing festival of nincompoopery is receiving. It very clearly does not have any sense of storytelling, logic, or tone, and gives a defiant middle finger to the concept of plausibility. I guess that says more about either myself or the critical eye of those that claim to be professional. Let's go with the latter, because, well, it's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.